Hello everyone, I'm Chris Williams, and this time we're going to be reviewing The Amazing Spider-Man, issue 20, The Hunted, part 4. We'll get right to it with the cover. The cover was by Humberto Ramos, and it shows the son of Craven, I don't know, I'll call him Craven Jr., fighting the Lizard. Now, this is a good cover. If you like Humberto Ramos's art, it's pretty good. But as I can, with Spider-Man hanging back in the background, it gives it a rather dark, almost 80s feeling when Craven's last hunt back in the 80s took place. This feels like a throwback to it, but that's only because I'm not really familiar with the original covers to Craven's last hunt. I've only read some of it, but from what I've seen in this series, this with the coffin I've mentioned before, this goes back to Craven's last hunt. And here we are with Spider-Man talking with Black Ant. Black Ant is telling Spider-Man that it's a good thing he didn't destroy that robot. He would have regretted it. And he tells him he did that mostly because he knows what it's like to be a good guy before he turned into a villain so he could become rich. I used to be a good guy too, you know. And he knows the secret of what Craven has done here. And he ends up he's going to end up going to tell him about it, but Spider-Man wants to know why he's suddenly helping him. He tells him the Taskmaster turned against him because he was also being paid to turn him into Arcade and Craven, because he is also an animal-themed super being, and he doesn't deny the fact that he probably deserves this, but still he used to be a hero and he would like to help Spider-Man. He says that he's going to remain small and hopefully no one will be able to see him. Well, Spider-Man says, "No, I'm not cutting that out for. Tell me what is going on here. I have people counting on me to save them. I have two people in this place who I need to rescue, and I have a person in my personal life who I need to go and save." He might not have said his own personal life. He didn't want to give anything away. The Black Ant tells him, "Well, you're going to have to listen to this." But meanwhile, Taskmaster is releasing the bonds on the Lizard. Apparently, this was all a plan by the Lizard. He had injected him with a poison or something that was affecting Taskmaster. The Taskmaster asks him after he's released the Lizard, "What do I do? Where's the cure?" And the Lizard responds, "Time." It turns out this was all a large punking the Lizard had done with Taskmaster, probably because he didn't want to worry about Taskmaster while he was saving his son. See, what he did to Taskmaster will wear off in about 24 to 48 hours. And Taskmaster says, "Are you serious? I fell for such a stupid trick?" He's probably thinking to himself. The Taskmaster is supposedly one of the premier villains in Marvel, but they haven't been treating him very well lately. And here he is being tricked by an overgrown iguana. Okay, now the Lizard isn't an iguana man, but he's just a big lizard. I'm just trying to do. Here we have the Black Cat and the Lizard's son, Billy Connors. Black Cat is trying to protect Billy and trying to get him out of here, as well as herself, so they don't end up being hunted by Craven's goons. But what she didn't know is that the actual danger was being outside in the park, because now she has to worry about these Craven robotic clones that are being piloted by rich people who are going around killing people like her. Here she's dealing with the guy who ended up killing Iguana Man in the last issue. The fat, rich, bald little guy who killed him. He comes at her saying, "I thought I saw a putty tat." Nick Spencer's writing here could be a little bit better. And we have his butt ugly face again as we see it in the comic. And he says to the Black Cat, "I always hated cats," with his smile on his face, the little worm here. Now we switch over to Craven Jr., who's talking to his father Craven. He says that they should be out there hunting them. He's angry with his father for taking his time with this hunt. He doesn't know about Craven's real plan. And he says that his father is a coward and that if he will not hunt, I will. And he marches out of there. He angers his father. Craven, for all his composure, looks down at his hand and realizes he's bleeding. He had cut his own hand with his fingernails because his son had made him so angry. He has a plan, and he plans to see it through. Here we go over to the idiot fighting Black Cat again, and Black Cat is going to try to lead him away from Billy. While he tries to go and kill her, here he's trying to knife her with a combat knife. She runs away, but then he notices another life sign, a heat signature, and he points his gun towards Billy. He takes aim and he fires. Black Cat thinks, oh no, Billy! And as he's firing his gun, he says, you think you can sneak up to me? Black Cat throws herself in the way and taking the bullet just in the chest, or maybe just in the belly, while screaming, no! The artwork here by Humberto Ramos is good. But I would still say, yeah, I can see his point that people don't really like his Spider-Man artwork. But I'm enjoying his art here. This story has been rather decent. And then after he gets done with Black Cat, he hasn't killed her yet. He goes over to the bush and he says, let's see how big you are. And he ends up being riled up or just intimidated because it's actually a kid. So just a kid? For a fat idiot like you're not very smart. You just being there, and if you don't kill that kid, you have a witness on your hands. Sure, he doesn't know what you really look like, but there's always the chance this could somehow bite you in the butt. Remember, he is still a superpowered being, and he's just going to get bigger when he grows up. And he asks Billy how old he is, and Billy says 12. He says, no kidding, I have a 12-year-old myself. Well, this guy, he gets out of there, leaving Black Cat and Billy to wander off. Black Cat is still able to move after being shot. And he runs off into the woods. He tries to remove his VR helmet, but he finds out he can't get it off. He's worried. He screams. Then he hears someone saying, don't worry, support will be there soon. It turns out it's the Vulture and the other villains, and they bum rush him. And then we learn something very important. As the villains tag team on the robot clone of Craven the Hunter. The guy inside, for every blow that is given to him, he feels it. And as the villains rip him apart, or at least the robot, there's significant damage to his own mind because he's neurally connected to it. It means all the damage they do to it is inflicted on him. In other words, if you die here, you die for real. And all the other guys realize this, and they start trying to remove their helmets. At least I'm assuming they are, because the guy is bleeding on the ground, falling on his fat butt while bleeding out through the ears and nose. Others seem to be trying to move it, but I'm not quite sure. I mean, they are reaching for their hands. Then Spider-Man realizes Craven is going to kill all of them. So he tries to call Craven out. But instead, Arcade decides to interrupt his pursuit of Craven. He tells Spider-Man that Craven is a little too busy right now, but he has company for him. And guess what? Apparently, not only have they made robotic clones of Craven the Hunter, but they've actually made a mass-produced clones of Vermin, the Rat Man. And these Vermin clones, well, I'm assuming they're clones. They may actually just be people they've injected with the Vermin serum, or whatever it is that Vermin has that turned him into a Rat Man. And they surround Spider-Man while saying, yum, 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 with red glowing eyes. Spider-Man, meanwhile, is intimidated. And this is where we leave you. This issue was decent, not great. It completely drops the Mary Jane plot line, and we don't know what happens to Black Cat after she and Billy start stumbling off with her bleeding out. I'd say this issue was decent. It was not great. That's in my opinion. Others might enjoy it more. And my first reading, I think I did enjoy it, but I have my problems with it because I think maybe they didn't do enough with this issue. It had a bunch of villains ripping apart a robot, and it didn't really bring the storyline any further than it did last issue. And in my opinion, it was bottom of the barrel and decent, not a great issue. If you like this review, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that bell and leave a like and leave some comments down below. And remember, keep checking back for my latest videos to keep hearing news on my upcoming comic book, Scumdogs, because you're helping good independent content. So check back in future videos for more news.